Police told Trey Reed's family that he died in his dorm room. That is what they initially told him. They lied to them. After they found him hanging on a tree in the middle of campus. The family did not know what happened on Monday, September 15th. Police and school officials are continuing to insist that no foul play went on and that this was a form of self-deletion. This campus is also heavily surveilled. It has cameras and they're refusing to share the videos with the family. They're saying it's in the hands of the investigators. The investigators who lied to the family, who are insisting it's self-deletion even though the investigation isn't done, even though the autopsy isn't done. There are also multiple reports saying that he had broken legs. How the hell did he climb up a tree if he had broken legs? And the cops' coroner office released a statement saying there were no injuries, lacerations, broken bones, blah, 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 consistent with assault. Meaning that he could have had any of these, but they just deemed it not consistent with assault. So if he had broken legs, how did he climb up the tree? Keep in mind, this campus has an extreme history of violence, and this is the state where Emmett Till was lynched in 1955. The police have come out and said that this campus is safe and things like this don't happen here. Don't worry, and we're sorry y'all are grieving. Don't piss me off. The family has hired a civil rights lawyer, and I hope and pray that they can find all the answers they need. Rest in power, Trey Reed.
I know that generalizations are usually bad, but I can say pretty certainly that no black person is ever going to unalive themselves by lynching themselves in Mississippi. What happened to Trey Reed needs to be investigated and should have been investigated. When the scene resembles a hate crime, it should be investigated. Even from just like a PR perspective, the police department should have opened an investigation because they should know that we will come to these conclusions without one. And it's shit like this, which is why I'll never, ever accept, like, times have changed, it's a different time, racism doesn't exist anymore. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I saw a video of the fucking Proud Boys walking through North Carolina earlier today. Miss me with that.
Black men are not hanging themselves from trees. Someone is targeting black and brown men. I refuse to believe that Trey Reed deleted himself on a college campus in Mississippi. Since the passing of Charlie Kirk, a few cases of black men being found hung from trees is growing rapidly. And of course, as usual, police always suspect no foul play. This is an ongoing issue that needs attention because mainstream media is not bringing it to light. And then someone gonna tell me, well, how do you know? How do you know someone did it? How do you know he didn't do it himself? Because that's not in black people to do. Black people don't do that. That's why. That's how I know. We don't do that. We don't hang ourselves from trees. Come on, man. Give me a break.
You cannot believe it. A black kid was found hanging from a tree in Mississippi, and something really doesn't add up about this entire story. Early morning Monday, 21-year-old Trey Reed was found hanging from a tree right in the middle of Delta State University's campus in Cleveland, Mississippi. Body was discovered around 7:00 a.m. near the pickleball courts. Now, University Police Chief Mike Peeler confirmed the discovery and said that foul play is not suspected. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is involved, and Trey's body was released to the coroner for an autopsy. But here's the problem almost immediately. Family and friends started saying something very different, that Trey's arms and a leg were broken. The coroner pushed back, saying that he didn't see broken bones in his exam, which leaves us with two very different stories. The official version, and the one people closest to Trey believe. Now, Delta State shut down classes and canceled events, though no lockdown was issued. Officials said there was no ongoing threat. Well, let's be real. A black man found hanging from a tree in Mississippi will never feel straightforward. History matters here. Generations of lynchings and cover UPS. Mean people are skeptical, and honestly, can you blame them? And I don't give my personal opinion a lot on these types of things. But personally speaking, I don't think that black kid would take his own life in a way that looks like a lynching. That's why this case is raising so many questions. So let me ask you, what do you guys think? Do you trust the official line that no foul play was involved? Or is there more to Trey Reed's story than we're being told? Let me know what you guys think. And as always, I'll keep you guys updated.
I know half of y'all don't care, and I know half of you guys will not even repost this, but this is serious and we need to demand justice. Let's talk about Trey Reed, because his story cannot and will not get swept under the rug. 21-year-old Trey Reed, a black student at Delta State University, was found hanging from a tree on campus early Monday morning. He was discovered near pickleball courts around 7 a.m., and the university canceled classes and even their centennial celebration because of the shock. But like always, the police always say they don't suspect foul play. But let's be real. When a young black man is found hanging from a tree in Mississippi, you do not just brush that off. You investigate every inch of that scene, because our history in this country makes it impossible to just ignore it. On social media, people are demanding answers. Some are claiming Trey Reed had injuries like a broken arm and bruises, raising even more suspicion. The family asked the public to not share any graphic images, but they also want transparency, and they deserve the truth. And let's be clear. Black people do not hang themselves from trees. That image is not neutral. It's rooted in America's history of racial violence and lynching. For generations, that was the tool to terrorize the black community. So when law enforcement rushes to say no foul play, it raises red flags. Trey Reed's life mattered. He was 21 years old and he had a future, and he deserves a full investigation, not a quick dismissal. We cannot let this become another case that fades into silence. Say his name. Demand answers, because the truth about Trey Reed's death at Delta State University needs to come out, and the world needs to be watching. Because last time we heard, they hang at Delta State University.
Donald Trump and his administration has shown us today their outright blatant racism. We have had two young black men that had bright futures ahead of them, hung from a tree in Mississippi. And we have yet to hear a word from Donald Trump in this administration. Nothing. He has said nothing. All this is coming out because of Charlie Kirk's murder. And no, Charlie Kirk did not deserve to die. But you need to take that up with your people, because Candace Owens just explained to us how Charlie Kirk had death threats from the right wing. I blame this that's going on to Donald Trump and his administration. But I'm going to tell you one thing, and I'm going to say it loud and clear. Y'all better get it together. Y'all better get it together. And us black people, black, brown, if y'all don't unite and stop the BS, they out to get us all. This makes no sense. The president of the United States has not spoke on these young men's lynchings. They were hung from trees, and no one has said a word. This is sad. That we are living in sad times. We are living in our last days. If you don't wake up today, you may not wake up tomorrow. God is not pleased. God is definitely not pleased with these two young men being hung from trees in Mississippi.
A black man was found hanging from a tree in Cleveland, Mississippi at Delta State University. His name was Trey Reed, and he was a 21-year-old college student. And the university police are saying from their initial reports that it looks like it was a self-termination and that there was no foul play, right? Mind you, they don't have the coroner's report yet, so they don't know 100%. Those are the facts of the story. Now, the speculation and all the other stuff is And there's a video that was circulating, but I believe the family asked for it to be taken down out of respect for Trey Reed and for them during their time of mourning. And there are different people who are saying that this man looked like his legs were broken. He looked like he was beaten, like black and blue. I believe there's a video out there of his cousin saying that he looks like he was beaten. It looks like they're trying to hide something. All of that is speculation, right? But here's my thoughts and opinions on it. As morbid and as tragic and as horrible as self-termination is, I hope that it was self-termination, because if it was, that is straightforward, that is cut and dry. That family can mourn their family member without all the extra stuff, right? However, if this was a group termination done by these people, and I was going to say, like, oh, it's done in the South, so I'm automatically going to give it a side eye. But with the state of the U.S. right now, it could be done anywhere. Black person, rope and tree, I immediately am giving it a side eye. And to me, I'm like, why wasn't it done? Like, you never know the thoughts of a person going through that, right? Like, I know mine because I've been there. But, like, why was it not at their house or something like that or whatever? You don't really know the details of that. But if it was a group of doing that, then that's going to amplify the craziness that's going on, and that family is going to be pulled into something that they shouldn't be pulled into. Now, that's just speculation. This could just be a self-termination. There are no other details. We don't have the coroner's report. We don't have the full investigative report. So just something to be aware of with all the crazy shit that's happening. It's only fucking Monday. But just something to be aware of. If I find more information, I'll let y'all know. But y'all let me know in those comments. What do y'all think is happening?
They really lynching black men in 2025. They found Trey Reed hanging from a tree in the center of his campus. And I've been trying to find the words to say because they playing with their family. But I'm going to just let y'all hear what their attorney had to say. Watch this.
Delta State University, with your false narrative, you need to proceed with caution, because there will be consequences for this.
Hattiesburg, Mississippi attorney Vanessa Jones speaking out Tuesday as family of 21-year-old Demartravian Trey Reed listened quietly in the Grenada church Reed attended. The freshman at Delta State University found dead Monday morning hanging from a tree on campus. Monday, just hours after Reed was found, the university announced.
At this time, there's no evidence of foul play.
Reed's family outraged after Bolivar County Coroner Randolph Seals Jr. issued this statement, quote, "Based on the preliminary examination, we can confirm that the deceased did not suffer any lacerations, contusions, compound fractures, broken bones, or injuries consistent with an assault. At this time, there is no evidence to suggest the individual was physically attacked before his death," end quote. Attorney Jones says DSU is leaving the Reed family in the dark.
We need answers. As of this point, the family of Trey Reed has not even received a phone call from the president of Delta State University and to tell them exactly what happened to their child that they entrusted to Delta State University.
Jones says the truth of what happened Monday should be easy to find.
Because if this young man was on the campus of Delta State University with all these cameras and all this modern technology, from the moment he left his dorm room or entered that campus, there should be surveillance of all of his actions. And that's what we want.
So why you ain't called the family, Daniel? Yeah, Daniel Ennis, him right here. This is the president of the university. And he still ain't called the family to pay no respects or give them any type of peace to let them know that they're going to provide everything that they need so that they know exactly what happened to their son. Seem like y'all trying to cover up some shit because you don't want your university to look bad. That's what it sounds like to me. And then y'all have the nerve to lie to his family and say that y'all found him in his dorm room, in his bed, knowing damn well that y'all found him hanging from a tree. They had to learn from the media that their son was actually found hanging from a fucking tree. And his family said that this just doesn't sound like something that he would do. He was a very joyful person, and he had a lot of dreams and plans, so it just doesn't make any sense. The family said that they're not responsible for the rumor that Trey had broken limbs that's going around. That's just a rumor. They didn't say that. If you have all this evidence to show that there wasn't any foul play, then provide that to the family so that they can make peace with what happened to their son. If that's really the case. Like she said, There's cameras all over the campus. So y'all had to have seen something. But it don't make no fucking sense for nobody to be getting lynched in 2025. And Trey Reed isn't the first. They're still investigating Dolores Richardson's case. That was back in September of 2024. And they're still investigating his case because they tried to do the same shit with him. And then on the same damn day that they find Trey Reed hanging from a tree, they find Corey Zakatis hanging from a tree as well. This is him right here. And he was a homeless man. Yeah, I know the rhetoric they've been having around homeless people, talking about maybe we should have involuntary lethal injections. So what the fuck is really going on, Mississippi? Y'all need to show proof that it was self-inflicted. Y'all need to do some real police work and not just say, oh, they did it to themselves. Because that's bullshit.
Not enough people are talking about Trey Reed, the 21-year-old black college student who was found hanging from a tree on campus. Now, officials are calling it a possible suicide, but his family says that story just doesn't add up. Early Monday morning, just after 7 o'clock, Trey's body was discovered near the pickleball courts at Delta State University. Police immediately called in the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, local officers, and the county sheriff. The coroner looked over his body at the scene and later told reporters that there were no broken bones, no cuts, no bruises, no injuries that would have suggested an assault. Officials said that there was no sign of foul play, and many reports framed it as an apparent suicide. Now, Trey's family is pushing back on this narrative. His grandfather said, "Something is just not right, and I don't believe Trey would do this to his family and hang himself." His mother has told reporters that she didn't even get information directly. She found out details about her son's death through news reports instead of investigators. The family also says that they were told conflicting things. At one point that Trey had been found in his dorm room, and then later that he was discovered hanging outside. Obviously, as you can imagine, those shifting details have left them shaken and demanding answers. Now they've hired civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who says that the family cannot accept vague conclusions when so many questions remain. They are calling for an independent autopsy and the release of any campus surveillance footage and full transparency about Trey's final hours. Right now, investigators are standing by their preliminary findings, no evidence of foul play, waiting on the full autopsy. But Trey's family says that they won't stop until every report, every video, and every answer comes out.
The information about what happened to Trey Reed, a black 21-year-old college student who was found hanging from a tree at his college, Delta State University, needs to continue to make its way out there. But for some reason, it seems to be getting suppressed and not covered. So here's how we're going to do it. Since y'all keep saying that y'all can't hear the audio from the press conference, I'm going to go ahead and break it down myself. The first thing and most important is that there is video footage. The chief of police confirmed that there is video footage that can show what happened to Trey Reed. When he was asked about why the video footage wasn't used or hasn't been released, he said because it's a part of an active, ongoing investigation. Mind you, when the police department first released the statement, they said that Trey Reed self-unalived and that there was no foul play. Now they're retracting that statement to say that they said they thought that that was what happened. That was their understanding based on what they saw. And this was all before there was even a preliminary autopsy. Also, Trey Reed's grandfather last night in a press conference revealed that when he got a phone call, he was told that Trey Reed was found in his room unalive and that he did it to himself without a question mark, not that he was found on a tree. They also asked at the press conference if there was any way or any evidence that he had access to get up on the tree to do what they said he did to himself. They refused to answer it. Also, when the college president was asked if there's any racial tensions or if there's been any racial incidents on the campus, he said not that he knows of. Not no, but you should know about that if you're the college president, correct? And my question is, and will continue to be, if there was video footage, what made you all conclude that it was a self-unaliving so quickly without doing any further investigation? Why didn't y'all wait for the autopsy and then say this was a part of an active investigation before y'all told the world that he did that to himself? The math is not mathing. It's not mathing at all. And we're not going to stop talking about it until we have answers. Justice for Trey Reed.
I just need to get this straight. Is violence always wrong? Or is violence against white folks wrong? Because everyone that I saw screaming about how political violence and violence itself was wrong last week have been real quiet after a black man was found hanging from a tree this week. A black man was found hanging from a tree with broken bones, and y'all have said nothing. His name was Trey Reed, and he was 21 years old. And he was found on the morning of September 15th at 7 a.m. hanging from a tree in the middle of Delta State University's campus. Initially, cops told Trey's family that he was found dead in his dorm. And then at a press release a few hours later, his family had to watch as the cops then told the public that he was actually found hanging from a tree in public. Now, I'm going to hope that I don't have to educate you guys on the cultural and historical context of a black man found hanging from a tree in public, but that's what happened. Now, the cops are trying to say that this was a suicide, the same way that the cops in Albany, New York ruled Earl D. Smith's death a suicide, another black man found hanging from a tree in public. It is really important that as a public, we do not accept deaths like this being swept under the rug. And if we are truly against all violence in this country, why is it only when white folks experience it that some of y'all speak up?